Afternoon, everyone. We're going to call this meeting to order. The the Building, Zoning, and Economic Development Committee is called to order this Wednesday, December 23rd, December 13th, 2023 at 4:02. Clerk, could you take the roll call, please?
Chairwoman Patty Smith.
Here.
Vice Chair Shweta Babe.
Here.
Alderman Carl Franco.
Here.
Alderman Mike Seville.
Here.
Alderman Bill Donnell.
Here.
5 present.
Thank you. The first item of business is item number 230986, the approval of the minutes for the Building, Zoning, and Economic Development Committee meeting that was held November 29th, 2023.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderwoman Bates, second by Alderman Franco. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Clerk, do we have anyone here for public comment?
No, we do not.
Thank you. On our agenda this evening, item number 231005, an ordinance changing the name of Moulter Road to Deal Road located between Felton Road and County Line Road. I'm very interested to hear this.
Did you get that all?
I got it. I'm really confused by the whole thing, and I can't wait to hear your presentation. I mean, I read the information, but.
So this is really just a cleanup. We've shown this always for as Deal Road for as long as I've probably been here, but for some reason the county has it as Molitor Road. So we are just cleaning this up and changing the official name to Deal Road. All of the properties along there are addressed off of Deal. So this is not going to have any effect on any of the properties.
So those homes that are along Molitor are actually have a Deal Road address?
No, so it's just this little portion that has the Deal Road. So it's really all the industrial that has the Deal Road address. It just never got changed over officially changed over. So everything west of what's on the screen there, that's all still Molitor Road.
Okay, you're still keeping portions of Molitor.
Correct.
Okay, that's where I didn't understand.
Madam Chairman, it's where the 4 lanes start. That's where that new industrial is, so that's where the name changes.
Okay, anyone have any questions here?
So moved.
Yeah, we have a question by Alderwoman Bay.
Thank you, Chairwoman. So do we need to inform Google to update it on Google Maps?
I think probably Google Maps probably shows it as Deal, but if they don't, then we'll see what we can do on that.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Second. All right, we have a motion from Alderman Franco, second from Alderman Donnell. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is 230891, an ordinance amending Chapter 29 of the Code of Ordinance, City of Aurora, by modifying the zoning map attached thereto to rezone property located at 316 South LaSalle Street from R4 2-family dwelling residence to R3 1-family dwelling resident.
Okay, thank you. My name is Steve Brabel. I'm with the City of Aurora Zoning Division. It's good to see you all again. So we have the property up here on the screen, the zoning map. So just a little bit of background. This property, it's currently zoned R4, which is a 2-family dwelling district. There's five units in the structure, and the petitioner is going through the down zoning process to the R3, rezoning to the R3 1-family dwelling district, and then also working to remodel the house to be 1 unit so that it's in compliance with the R3 use standards. That's essentially it. I don't know if there are any questions for staff.
Does anyone have any questions? I have a quick question. So it was never supposed to be a multifamily building? It was not zoned as so, or what?
Sure, I can give
how
a
did it-
background. So it is R4 2-family. The way it's been used is the first floor was a separate unit that is lived in by the daughter of the owner and her children. The upstairs was chopped up as 3 rooming house apartments. They weren't even full apartments, but there were 3 rooms that were rented out upstairs. So Mr. Larson came in to see us and He did have the option if he wanted to convert the upstairs to a full apartment with a kitchen and everything. He decided not to do that. So what he's going to do is make the upstairs just like additional living space for the downstairs. So it'll be a single-family home for his daughter and her family. That's what it's going to be. So he chose not to make it a two-unit, a legal two-unit.
Anyone else have any questions?
So moved.
I have a motion by Alderman Franco, second by Alderman Seville. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is 230976, an ordinance establishing a conditional use plan development, approving the Prairie Meadows plan description and amending Chapter 49 of the Code of Ordinances, City of Aurora, by modifying the zoning map attached thereto to an underlining zoning of R1C, one family dwelling district, and OS1C, conservation, open space, and draining district, OS2C, open space and recreation district, with a conditional use plan development of the property located at the north side of Prairie State, west of North Kingsway Drive.
Can you read in the second one or the
Yes,
last
oh
one?
yes,
too?
thank you. Second one is 230977, a resolution approving a preliminary plan and plot of Prairie Meadows subdivision located at the north side of Prairie State, west of North Kingsway Drive.
Thank you. Tracy Vasic, I forgot to introduce myself earlier, so apologize for that, with the Zoning and Planning Division. The subject property is currently vacant land with R1 one-family dwelling zoning. Most of the property is currently owned by the West Aurora School District 129, and the other portion of the property is owned by adjacent property owner who's selling a portion of their property. The school district bought the property in 2002 for the purpose of building a middle school on the property. Since then, West Aurora School District rebuilt Greensman Middle School. Therefore, there was really no need for the school district to keep the property. Earlier this year, the school district did do a RFP, or a request for a proposal, to sell the property, and Lennar Home Builders was awarded the RFP by the school district board. The petitioner is requesting the establishment of a conditional use plan development with underlining R1, OS1, and OS2 zoning district. The plan description allows for modifications to the bulk restrictions, the building standards, and to the subdivision control ordinance. Specifically, it allows for the reduction of lot size, width, and the front and side yard setbacks. It also allows for the establishment of a higher minimum floor area for the one-story dwellings, the establishment of a basement requirements for those lots where basements are feasible, and the establishment for the requirement of a 4-foot garage extension for those lots where basements are not feasible. It also requires the developer to contribute funds to future road improvements to Prairie Strait. Concurrently with the proposal, the petitioner is requesting approval of a preliminary plat and plan for Prairie Meadow subdivision. The proposal is to construct an age-targeted ranch-style home community consisting of 74 single-family lots. The subdivision is intended to be a maintenance-free living administered by the Homeowners Association. The proposed residential lots range from 8,000 square feet to roughly 12,000 square feet, with a minimum of 60 feet in width at the setback line. The city's comprehensive plan designates the property as low-density residential, being 0 to 5 dwelling units per acre, or gross acres. The gross density for this development is 2.0 dwellings per acre, which is in conforming with our city comprehensive plan. The petitioner is also proposing a 1.45 acre park. In addition to preserving the existing wetlands that are located on the northeast portion of the property, there's actually 5 detention ponds that they are building as part of this development. A full access into the subdivision is being constructed on Prairie Street, directly across from Rockwell Road. In addition, a connection at the dead end of South Constitution Drive to the north, and a dead end at Kenilworth Place to the east is being provided for street connectivity. Lastly, the preliminary landscaping and building elevations are in your packet, but this will actually be reviewed at preliminary plan and plat time. They just wanted to give you kind of an idea of what they're looking at. The petitioner does have a presentation, so I can turn it over to them unless you have questions for me.
Do we need to read the conditions into the record or not?
There is no conditions on either one of these.
I thought I almost looked at those. Absolutely. We'd like to hear from the petitioner.
Good afternoon. My name is John Philipchuk. I'm an attorney from 111 East Jefferson Avenue, Naperville, Illinois, and I've been involved in working with the development of the Prairie Meadows planned unit development, and I would like to, thank you. I'd like to have Mike Stockwell come up and introduce you to Lennar. Mike is the land entitlements manager for Lennar Homes.
Good afternoon. Mike Stockwell with Lennar, 1700 East Gulf Road in Schaumburg. So Lennar is the second largest home builder by revenue as of last year. We've been building homes since 1954. We're currently in 41 U.S. markets, and out of our Chicago division, we're ranging from Northwest Indiana throughout Illinois and in the southern half of Wisconsin. One of the key components is that we have our own title and mortgage in-house, so we like to provide a good buying experience for potential customers, and that's a little bit about the background of Lennar. We are very involved in this subregion. We've had some great success with Liberty Meadows. It is currently the second most successful community in Illinois, and that's based on sales pace. And then we have some of the other communities listed up there. And I'll turn this back over to John for zoning.
So as was mentioned by Tracy, we're seeking a plan development for the property and then subdivision plats. We did have at the graciousness of Alderman Franco a neighborhood meeting before we had our public hearing, which was very well attended. We had an opportunity to explain the concept to the area residents, many of whom were very encouraged, saying that this was a product that we really need in this particular area of town, because a lot of them say, we're getting to the point where we don't need our large two-story homes anymore. A ranch-style product like this would be wonderful, and so they were very encouraged by what we were doing. But the main thing was we were in looking at the property, and you can go to that next slide, Tracy, wanted to be cognizant, obviously, of our neighbors. And so as you can see from this, we looked at the buffer areas that are around the perimeter of the property. We do have a lot of vegetation, and we've done an evaluation of the trees, the existing trees out there, to see, what was the kind, what was the quality, how healthy are they. And then you can see by one of the colored drawings that are on the sheet how our landscape buffers are taken care of. They usually will do a mix of shrubs, understory trees, deciduous trees, and evergreen trees. Some of the neighbors who were immediately adjoining expressed an interest in the views that they might have over the ponds that are going to be created. And of course, we'll have more details on that when we get the final engineering. As you know, right now we're just at the preliminary stage. But also, we have like a 17-foot buffer along that western property line. And again, we're going to look to see where we need to enhance the landscaping, and those areas where the neighbor would prefer to try to keep it as much as they've got now. We'll look at that also. But bottom line, we got 37 acres, and 34 of the acres with the school district, as Tracy mentioned, and then we had the Voris family that's selling the additional acreage there, so that we could square off some of those lots and create a better connection with the street system that's out there. As you know, we got basically two streets that stub into the property now, and then we'll be creating that new connection down to Prairie Street. There is a private park that was mentioned. That is going to be, a homeowners association park, but it will have a shelter. It'll have some play equipment in it because obviously when you're targeting age 55 and up, there are grandchildren that come to visit. They need a place that they can go over and exercise with the grandparents. It's been the experience with Lennar and these products when they build them around the country is usually around an 80% 55 and older, and 20% would typically, might be under. So the lure to the empty nester, if you will, is the fact that your lawn maintenance is taken care of by the HOA in this development, and also the snow removal in the winter is taken care of by the association. So your exterior lawn and driveway sidewalks are taken care of by the association. The price points in a community like this we're looking probably in the mid 450, 460s. So typically with the arrangement with the first floor masters and some things that Michael will explain later on about the actual product, but it designed for that empty nester, the kind of a home layout that they would prefer. It's not one that you would come in with a family of children, because you can do better with a bigger lot, bigger home, et cetera, if you're going to get into that kind of price point, as you know. One of the things that is always a concern is the stormwater management. It's interesting because there's a ridge line basically about halfway through this property. The east half flows ultimately to the Fox River. The west half goes to Blackberry Creek. As we're all familiar with, we've got extra storage capacities that we have built into our ordinances here in the city of Aurora for Blackberry Creek. So we do have that additional 10% that we'll be working with. We've had some good meetings with Suits in the Aurora Engineering Department, and also with the Kane County Resources Department, because there are some off-site flows to the south. You could go to the next slide. The property to the, I'm sorry, that's the park. Okay, we already talked about. We'll move down to the next one after. That from the park site and to the west, that water will be handled a little bit differently than the water on the east side, but bottom line is that the county was concerned about what kind of flows they might get off-site south of Prairie, because you've got quite a few single-family homes that are in the county, not in the city down there. They have an open ditch system for their stormwater. That's how the stormwater moves in that area. So I think we've worked out a situation now that they understand how we're going to handle our flows from the site, and of course most of it will be retained. Where we do have drainage from our sump pumps, where the homes that have the basements are, we're going to discharge those on the surface so we can better control water that gets into the open ditches down to the south there, south of Prairie Street. So we're looking at that. We're also building our street system to meet city standards, 66-foot right-of-ways, 31-foot back-to-back curb. At this time, we're going to be building a bike path on the north side of Prairie Street. We won't be doing the actual improvements to Prairie. At this time, we're going to do fee and lieu, so that when the city is able to put together a better project, a bigger project, that they would be able to go in and do more with Prairie Street. But for now, the plan is to put the money up for those eventual improvements, curb and gutter, et cetera. But we will be dedicating 50 feet of right-of-way along Prairie Street for the expansion of that roadway. With that, I would like to have Mike come back up, and he'll talk a little bit about the product.
So we're proposing 4 different product lines with 3 elevations each. As shown on the screen right now is our Napa, our smallest plan, ranging from about 1,428 up to about 1,500 square feet. This is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath plan, and this generally in our data shows about 15% of our sales is this Napa product. There is space for a study in the lower left corner of the floor plan that some people use as a guest bedroom, but it is designed to be a study, 2-bed, 2-bath. And one note to point out is for our basement option versus our slab option, the slab option will have an additional 4 foot for storage in the garage, just to kind of alleviate some of that stress for storage. Stepping up our Rutherford is our second option, ranging from about $1,650 up to $1,750. This plan ranges at about 35% of our sales. This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and this is what our Welcome Home Center or our model will be, this plan. Another step up is the 1,800 up to 1,900 square feet. This plan also is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. All of these plans do have basement and slab options. This plan also generally is about 35% of our sales. And then our largest option is the Sonoma, ranging about 1,880 to 2,000 square feet. This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and this one, just like the Napa, is about 15% of our sales. Some of our example interiors showing the open floor plans, showing kind of the dining room, kitchen, and the living space. A couple of different options of interiors that you can go with. Everything up there is an actual photo of our product. It is not CGI or anything. And wanted to thank you all for the opportunity to present Prairie Meadows, and we welcome your questions.
Who would like to start? Alderman Franco.
So this might be for the engineering department. So what are we talking about potentially with Prairie? I mean, we talk about potentially widening it. What is the preliminary plan to do with that, or don't we know here? I'm looking at you, Suits. I don't know if you know. I'm just looking at engineering. Whatever.
Good afternoon. My name is Suits Tawang with the City Engineering Division in New Development. To your question, Alderman, we just don't know. I mean, the cross section is still being looked at. I don't know if it's going to be a 3-lane cross section, with a median, or not median, but like I want to call it suicide lane, but a 2-way left turn, bi-directional turn lane. That's it. That's
Can't
what
call
I
it suicide.
But that would be the ultimate vision. I think it would be a 3-lane cross section.
And that'll be determined based on the traffic that appears once the subdivision is built. I mean, what's going to be the trigger for that decision? I mean, what would make us decide one way or the other?
That's going to be a hard question. I don't know. It's going to depend on this subdivision by itself. I think we're probably going to look at the whole region and the whole corridor and figure out, how we convey traffic through this section of the city, I guess.
Right, so the development itself is not necessitating work on Prairie. That's a bigger picture type of thing. Whether this goes in or not, we would still be looking at it. I'm just trying to figure out what is pushing what along. Okay.
Yeah, right now I just don't know, but it all depends on, future traffic, I think. So.
All right. That's the question I have. Mr. I'm sorry.
Alex Alexandru, Chief Management Officer. So I think right now staff has a handle on what the current traffic counts are. I think we were waiting to have this develop, and then we'll monitor. We know from the area there are different times of day where, the 4-way stop, for example, there at Edgelawn and Prairie does back up at times, whether it's from after-school traffic or, there's also traffic going from AU down to Jericho at times. So I think it's an evolving situation. We wanted to have this fully developed, but we are appreciative that, and we asked, and Mr. Filipchuk said they're going to put really nice landscaping along and that bike path. So I think the staff will also look at what type of bike pedestrian to go along with the actual street construction and design. So this will be ready to go.
And that bike path will be connecting to where?
Well, I mean, they're going to put it in,
Okay.
but we're going to take it into consideration to see how it can be part of the overall improvement of Prairie.
Okay. All right.
So there might be the ability to go down to Orchard to connect there. Right now, I think folks just kind of bike in Prairie, right?
Yeah, There's a bike path just on just south of Perry along Palmer. You know, the Gilman Trail. That's where I think one of the entrances. So the goal is to just basically provide some sort of connection along Perry and then eventually down Palmer. You know, so.
Thank you.
Anyone else have questions? I have a few, but I'll wait.
Go ahead.
Will these streets be city streets, city sidewalks? So we'll be maintaining these streets, correct? And I know this is a maintenance-free neighborhood, but it's not considered a senior living. Is that correct?
That is correct. It's age targeted. There's nothing in our covenants and restrictions limiting anybody to actually come. It's more of the product and the maintenance-free lifestyle that draws that demographic to support the numbers that we have.
Because I know you're talking about people aging. I realize Franco and his side of the town's getting old, and they need some maintenance-free type living
Well,
over there. And
That's a good point. I was going to mention before, too, the good thing is I'm part of the senior shovel program for seniors. I won't have to do that area because they're going to have to do their own, so that's a good thing.
So that's why I wanted to put the two together. I didn't know if it was senior. And then my last question is, on my side of town, anytime there's any homes being built, we always talk about how many children are going to be produced out of that neighborhood because of our concerns of putting more kids in the school district that may or may not have room. And I'm not sure whether your school district has that issue. Have we discussed this with the school? The school's okay with this?
Well, yeah, the school is, remember, the school is the owner of the property.
I
They're the
realize that,
petitioner.
and I heard that, but I'm
And so-
still asking the question.
When this was first brought to our attention, and we also involved the alderman early on, there were different discussions on what could go there. You know, it'd been vacant for quite a while. So the school district did their due diligence, figuring out the hydro, what do we call that word? The hydrology of the property. Also, how much was actually buildable. So they invested in that early on and then started looking at different types and settled on this type of product. They put out an RFP, and Lennar met all the specs. And part of that discussion was the fact that West is on a bubble and you know, on sort of the downward trend for kids, so they were not adverse to this type of product being able to absorb. And I don't know exactly, Tracy, was there an actual number generated at some point? It was
Usually
not a large number. I don't know if you
Usually it's
know.
1 point
We usually
something.
generate that at final plan time, so I don't know the number offhand. But as they said, 80% of what they say is that 80% of it would be the age targeted, so that would be the older demographic, and then 20% of the houses would be probably have some school children in there.
And I
So-
know, talking to the district extensively, they were very impressed with Lennar's experience and especially the data that they brought to these types of homes in other locations and how well, not only have they sold, but the impact on the local district.
Well, I just believe it's good to state that you guys have had conversation with the school district so that we know that everyone has looked at this and it's working for everyone. It's looks like a great development, and coming from District 204, every time we talk about kids, you know, we kind of cringe a little bit because we know that what the school district is like. So just looking out for Franco's side of town. That's the end of my question.
I will also say that they are paying the full land cash fees, so for every house, even if it is, it has demographics that don't have the school kids, so.
Awesome. Thank you. Alderman Seville.
Yes, just a couple of points. John, when is Lennar looking to complete the project?
When would we start?
Well, start and complete, yeah. What's your goal,
Some
timeframe?
ideas.
We still have a long way to go through final engineering, but we anticipate breaking ground as soon as the weather allows next year, April, May. Have a
shovels. We'll go do it now.
We can go do it right now. 3 or 4 month, probably kind of land development timeline. And then we're anticipating having our model home site up in October, November-ish. just to start, and then opening up sales shortly after into 2025.
And are you doing this in phases, or are you just doing the whole thing
Just-
at once?
Just one build.
Yeah, great.
And then probably a 2 or 3 year sell and build schedule to be finished.
Okay, good. And then for staff, I'm sure this is a typo you had. It's really Greenman Elementary School and not the middle school. So. Oh. Yeah, so I don't know if you want to correct that for the staff report or not. But, yeah. Okay, that's all the questions I have.
Alderman Donnell.
Thank you, Ms. Chairman. Full disclosure, my son lives 4 doors away from this project, so I'm
Which
looking at it
direction?
I'm representing one of Carl's constituents out there.
We're all looking out for you, Carl.
Yeah, thanks. Out there on Kenilworth, it looks like your plan shows sidewalks to be built on property that you don't own. The sidewalks were extended out to Kingsway on the plans.
Yeah, the extension of the sidewalk would be basically, we're going to tie into the intersection. And so, yes, the sidewalk will be within the right of way, basically. But yes, we were hoping to extend that sidewalk to that intersection because it doesn't make sense just to end the sidewalk just at the limits of the property.
Right.
So that's the plan.
And just, we know that there's no sidewalks in this subdivision
Correct, yeah.
adjacent, but
Yeah.
you got to start somewhere, right, John?
I've heard that before.
Very good. And again, there was a question of the value, I think you said earlier, between 450 and 490,
450, 460 is probably going to be our average and go from there.
and then HOA fees on top of that.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any further questions?
I do.
Alderwoman Bate.
Thank you, Chairwoman. A couple of questions. When we mention age targeted, you're saying there is no restriction, but these are built for seniors. Is there a percentage we're looking at that these will be reserved for seniors, or it's open for anyone and first come, first
It's
served?
open for anyone, but you saw the floor plans of the homes, the ranch style, the required contribution for your ongoing maintenance, things that you typically would not have if you were going to have a family come into here. But we do not exclude them. They can come in. But Lennar's experience, I think you had like 76,000 closings last year. So they've done this type of product around the country, and their experience is about an 80-20 split is what they tend to find. Now, could this one be a little more or a little less? Yes, but that's pretty much what they've found. So you would expect that at least 80% of those homes would be probably people aged 55 or older.
And I like it that you have included parks with playgrounds and
It's just a
visiting
small
grandkids.
structure and some swings, but otherwise there's a picnic shelter that has a roof on it. No formal ball fields or anything. It's just an open grass area, so it's a tot lot, if you will.
So currently, we are thinking of having the entrance only on Prairie Street. Is that correct?
We have connections there are 2 other streets that stub in, Kenilworth and Constitution, so those will be continued through the development. So there'll be basically 3 ways in and out of the subdivision.
Okay.
Sorry. Just trying to get a pretty picture of it.
Okay.
You can see to the east, to the north, and then to the south.
Okay. And the other question I had was average pricing. You already mentioned that, so
Okay.
I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
I do have one more question. Did we say that School District 129 still owns it?
Yes,
So this is based upon us approving the?
yes.
Okay.
Any
The
further
subdivision
questions?
looks very nice. Yes. He wants to say something.
One more question from Alderman Donnell.
And just to follow up, and again, for Carl's constituent, traffic-wise, I think this is a good plan that you've made those connections. We have those existing connections, so I would imagine most of the traffic would come off of Prairie, but Constitution's is a pretty busy street as well and wide, so I think you've probably done a pretty good job of balancing traffic in and out of this subdivision.
The engineering department worked with us and our land planners to come up with that configuration. And when you look at it, it makes pretty good sense. I agree with your observations there too, Bill.
Madam Chairman,
Yes,
if I can just
certainly.
reiterate, and Mr. Phillips just talked on, it wasn't just working with engineering. We've had a tremendous amount of collaboration from the beginning with School District 129 on visioning the district, as the city, as the alderman, what we wanted to see there ultimately. We know, as Ed mentioned, there's been a long history there of some stops and starts, and it was critical to take into consideration both the alderman's wishes as well as the residents. And so I think this plan reflects that. It is very responsible to the area, and yet we also wanted something of high quality and something that would attract and retain residents, similar to some other projects we've had, not only that they've done, but we were envisioning sort of a Stonegate West, if I can borrow that phrase. And so I just want to thank the school district and the whole team at Lennar for responding, and the school board for putting this in action, because they invested a lot of time, effort, and money at the beginning to do their homework about the property. It's really the last large undeveloped parcel on the west side, and I think excitement that staff has is finally to get responsibly, as Alderman Dell said, the traffic flow through there, and then leading us hopefully to a next step of improving Prairie. And finally, based on recent public conversations we've had, this project's adding 74 new homes that are going to pay full property taxes that will benefit all of the taxing bodies. So we're excited about that, from a farm that produced very, very minuscule amount of taxes.
Right.
So thank you.
And if I could piggyback on that about the school district, when I had conversation with them and told them what I thought would be a good fit there, this is almost exactly, almost exactly to what I had, desired to go there, because I think it was going to be a good fit. The ranch homes on the west side of Aurora in that area go in a second. Basically, they don't even go for the asking price anymore. They overbid for them. So this is something that's certainly a desire on the west side. It's an area that has a lot of homes, ranch homes, and they want more. So this is about as good a fit as you're going to get right in that area. It really is. I'm pretty excited about that. And so are the neighbors in that area, too.
And interest rates did not go up, and they are going to start going down, so that's good.
We hope.
And Alderman Bate has one more question.
So since we are targeting seniors, was there a thought of having a clubhouse at the property?
Generally, what you're looking at clubhouse amenities, it would take significantly more units to be able to fund something like that. And, just speaking to the HOA costs, some of the numbers that we've already kind of projected is about $250 a month. Being able to support something like that would be not efficient for the site.
Thank you.
Anyone else? We have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion by Alderman Franco, second by Alderwoman Bate. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all for being here, for presenting today. No further business to.
That's on both items?
That's, well,
Yeah.
we need to do both of them separately?
Yep,
Yeah,
please.
so the first one, motion carried on 230976. Okay, 230977, may I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Franco, second by Alderman Seville. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Motion for adjournment.
Motion for adjournment by
Second.
Alderman Seville,
Second.
second by Alderwoman Bade. All in favor?
Aye.
Time to go home.